Yes, Eyes of Wakanda is very, very good. And I just want to be completely honest, I didn't expect too much going into it because I'm starting my MCU watchathon from beginning of timeline to end of timeline. And I was trying to figure out like where to start and where to end. And I did some research, and apparently, Eyes of Wakanda is the first thing that happens in the timeline of MCU. Now, I wouldn't have really thought that that would have been the first thing that happens in the MCU since it's animated, not live action. But it's very interesting. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a chance. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna see what's up. And I'm very glad I did. It is a short series. There's only 4 episodes, and each episode's around about half an hour long, give or take like 5 minutes just about. We follow these people called War Dogs. So I had to quickly look it up. I just finished the show and I'm already forgetting. So we start the very first episode. It is a it is a girl. I'm not gonna give up too many spoilers. I'm gonna go very lightly. So we follow this girl. I'm not gonna give you her name or anything, and she gets sent on a mission, and the mission is to retrieve an artifact. Now, through the 4 episodes, that is the main focus. Is they send out a war dog to go and get an artifact that is from Wakanda, which was stolen so many years prior, 1,000 years, 2,000. It doesn't really matter. It's just some point in the past it was stolen, and these war dogs' missions is to go back and go retrieve the artifact and give it back to Wakanda where it rightfully belongs. Now, episode one, we we see that happen. And there's this dude, this is really cool villain with like a god complex, and he is a really cool villain. I really liked him, and it really put like a very positive taste in my mouth when it came to the show. I thought the villain was amazing. I thought the way they wrote him was great. I loved the voice acting in all 4 of these episodes. They were really, really good. And just like the animation, at first it was a bit weird because the characters are very weirdly proportioned, and some people's heads kind of look like the Green Goblin mask from Tobey Maguire's universe. Like they're kind of like long, like their heads are really long and weirdly shaped, which is kind of interesting. But when you get over the initial, oh, that's a bit of a different animation style, and you get into the story and the voice acting being as good as it is, you really get into the story, and it's really, really cool. They all take part. Every episode is a leap, so you're not following one Wakandan war dog who was gonna go get all these different artifacts. You have the first one, and then the girl in the first one in episode two is a chief. Um, she's like uh him the director. She's a director. And then the in episode two it revolves around this guy, and a very well known bit of history is actually written into this episode, which is really, really cool. Um, and it kind of reminds me of when people are in prison for a long time and then finally get released. They think they just kind of want to go back to prison. This is kind of how this episode kind of sums up a little bit. A little bit of a spoiler here. Um, basically, he was out on a mission for almost a decade, and when he came back to Wakanda, he just he felt like a stranger, so he wanted to go back out and find whatever Wakanda needed finding. And then episode three, which is my favorite episode, we have a really cocky Wakandan war dog, and he basically he's in China and he steals this one dragon artifact, and again another spoiler here, the lady who saved him is actually, huge spoiler right now, is Iron Fist, and she's a really cool Iron Fist. And basically, what she does is she stows away on his ship after he takes this sacred um, dragon head. It was part of a statue. You just nab the head off it. Because there was the tongue was made out of vibranium, and eventually they all sorted out, But she was the first person who wasn't Wakanda to go to Wakanda, which is really, really cool. And then the fourth episode, and huge spoiler here, we find out. Well, also there's the prince and another Wakandan. They go on a field mission, and they basically find out that everyone. So they were getting an axe, right? Can you shut the fuck up? Basically, they were getting an axe, but then the Black Panther from the future comes in and it's like, "Yo, I've seen multiple different, Wakandans over time, and the artifacts. Just one artifact getting taken away. That certain artifact is like just fucking up the timeline." And it turns out that it wasn't the three really powerful ones. It was just an axe, so they had to put the axe back from where they took it from. But this is basically what we've seen is the three main things we followed was the future Black Panther going through and seeing where the artifact was. Now I really really enjoyed this, and I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did, and it didn't feel like a Marvel project throughout the entire show. It felt like something completely different, and it was super refreshing. Not just being about superheroes, and it being about in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's something that I can really appreciate about it, and I think they did a really good job. And I'd love to give them their flowers because they did a really great job. The voice acting was great. The animation and the fight scenes were just so hype. Um, my favorite fight scenes are either in episode 1 or episode 3. Episode 3 is my favorite episode, and my least favorite episode is probably like episode 2. No, I realized that one too. I love them all. They were all great episodes, and I wish it was more, but I understand why they kept it short, and I think it's perfect how it is. But I would have liked to seen, I would have liked to see the characters get a bit more developed than they were. But even in the 30 minutes that they were on screen, they got a lot of development, and I felt, I felt for all of the characters, especially in episode 2. Like you really felt for the War Dog in that episode. I think it was a very good show, and I'm not gonna say too much more on it. I think you should definitely go watch it, especially if you like Marvel. And it's only 4 episodes, and that means it's only about 120 minutes, so that's like average kind of movie time. Um, I liked it a lot. Like I liked it a lot, and I think it is a really, really good show, and especially it being so compact as well. And they managed to add a lot of serious comedic. And one thing I didn't expect is blood. There was blood shed, a lot of it, and even especially in the first one, the person we follow kills. And obviously, it happens again after that in every other episode. But the reason I say the first episode is because I was shocked because I just didn't expect it, to be honest. But no, yeah, there was death, there was killing, and by the way, this was set years and years before, and it's something Wakanda is something that personally feel, and I would like to see more of it developed. It's something that hasn't been developed or really looked into too much in the MCU, because it is a huge and very powerful place. I know it's been referenced, like obviously you had the Wakanda, the Black Panther movies, and Infinity War was set in Wakanda for a bit of it. But I'm on about like it's nice to have like a show that kind of had Wakanda and focus more about it. Now I'm a really big fan of the new Black Panther cast, and I really, really, really hope that they have either at least 2 or 3 movies, and I hope it's very Wakanda heavy and very surrounded about that, because I would love to learn more about Wakanda, and I would love to see it more on the screen, because I think it's something like, especially in the first Black Panther and the second one, I thought they were both great when I first watched it. I gotta rewatch the second one. I've only seen it once, but the first Black Panther, apart from maybe 1 or 2 scenes with the CGI looked a bit off that I remember just loving the movie, and it's one of my favorite MCU movies ever. And I would love to see more Wakanda, and this show just again pushes me to see it. I'm not quite sure when the show came out. I'm pretty sure it was not a recent show. Uh, yeah, 2025. It is quite recent actually. Yeah, it got a 92 on Rotten Tomatoes, and it deserves that. I don't give ratings anymore out of 100 or 10 or anything. So I don't think I'm really good at it. But what my reviews are now is, if you me thinking, me giving you the thing of either should you watch it, you could watch it, or nah, you shouldn't watch it, and you should definitely watch this. It is a really good show. Anyway, that's about it.